Hey man, how do I get my first paying deal?
The great Tash Rambo Ramdeep says you must start with distribution, which means find the big booty white bitches on the Instagram.
Okay, then what?
Then you must sell the feet pics on the OnlyFans website.
Really?
Bro, it is tripwire funnel. You start with the feet pics and later you sell big titties and big booties. It is because there are 300 million people in America. All of them are horny.
What's up guys, it's Frankie here, and in this video I want to walk you through getting your first paying deal done and kind of break this down into steps of like, where do you start? Because like when I first started realizing that you could actually make money with other people's stuff and you didn't have to build anything, and there was tons of it just laying around digitally, kind of metaphorically thrown in the trash can, that you could just be like, hey, can I have that thing in the trash? And people would be like, okay. And because they didn't know how to use it, you could turn it into money almost instantaneously. Like your mind explodes with possibility. So I want to show you guys, how do you actually get your first paying deal done? For those of you guys who don't know me already, by the way, my name's Frankie Finn. I wrote these two best-selling books, Passive Automated Recurring Income, which you can find a link for below this video. I encourage you to check that baby out and grab a copy of that. I've also been doing this whole online thing for like 20 years, and I've helped thousands of you guys out there to live this more beach, less laptop lifestyle. Let's get into getting that first paying deal done.
Yo, it's Frankie Finn. Beach mode engaged. Looms loaded, AI's humming. Let's go!
All right. So let's talk about the old step numero uno. What is the first thing you should do? And the first thing you should do is get an audience. And I'll tell you, one of the magical things about this day and age, living in this world, is that there are people who have built audiences on virtually every platform that have no fucking idea how to monetize them. By the way to monetize them is very simple. Make an offer. And by the way, if you make a really good offer, it'll work even better. But I meet people all the time that have sometimes in the millions of followers, and they're just praying that a corporate sponsor will fall out of the fucking sky. And what they don't do is actually offer stuff to people. Here's a thing you can buy. And by the way, audiences buy all kinds of things. So I'll tell you some of my favorite places to get audience. Email lists. There's tons of people that build email lists and abandon them. Communities, LinkedIn, Facebook, people build communities. Eventually, if you're not making any money with a community because you don't make any offers, it just becomes a lot of work. And so they actually start to resent the communities because you got to delete spam, people argue with each other. And you know, there's all kinds of like headaches associated with it. And then I'll tell you another one is channels. So Instagram and YouTube. The truth is, it doesn't really fucking matter which one of these that you pick. You should just pick the one, to me, that you're most active on. So I like Facebook groups. I like YouTube channels because those are ones I'm active. I like email lists. I'm not as big on like the Instagrams, but maybe you are. It really works any place. It's like you want to start with audiences of people, right? Like that's step one, is to get control of an audience. And so it's really like a function of two things, is research them. And I promise you, as long as you're scrolling social media, you don't have to do like separate research. It's already in front of you, right? So like I was like watching like last night a YouTube channel on wrestling, and I was like, man, if they just sold tickets to wrestling, or they sold like the plastic, you know, like wrestlers and toys and shit like that, they would make so much money on that fucking channel, because like wrestling people buy tickets and yet they're not monetizing it. They're not making any offers, because you know what most people think they do? They think if they just build a channel doing this, they'll become millionaires.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny that when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung.
Okay, so you don't have to do any separate research. I want to make that very, very clear. You just have to pay attention when you're mindlessly watching cat videos, or in my case, like cooking and wrestling and shit like that. You know, I was watching a video last night with my kids that was like, is this real or is it cake? And they would take a thing and they give you 10 seconds to decide, and half the time You cut it open to like, oh my God, that's like super realistic looking, but it's actually a cake. And then half the time, no, that's really a shoe. And you got to guess which ones are cake and shoes, right? Well, they could monetize that. And by the way, one of the easiest ways to monetize a cake video is with cake-related fucking products in the fucking description, right? So I propose to you, I don't have to do separate research. I'm already watching the cake videos. I just have to pay attention to where the audiences are. Now, the next step that I want you to make is to simply make an offer to buy it or control it, okay? And a lot of times, this is not like a hard pitch. This is just like a question. Like, hey, if I did this, is there any way you'd be open to selling this? How much would you want for it? So that's the question I want you to ask. Would you be open? Would you be open to selling it? Hey, dude, I'm just watching your cake channel. Would you be open to selling it? By the way, usually the price they want for it is nowhere near what you would typically ask for. In fact, we've had people acquire audiences of more than 100,000 people for less than $100 US. Like every day, not just like once in a while unicorn deals, right? And I've seen people pay probably as much as 1,000 for 100,000 followers. So that's a typical range. Sometimes actually, by the way, they'll just give it to you. I've even seen like probably 50 times where somebody said, you can just have it. I'm not doing anything with it anyway. Here, it's yours. So what we're going to do is in a step 2 is we are going to put a product. And what most of these people do, like I said, they're sitting around waiting, but we want to put an offer. And when do we want to put an offer? It's kind of like this.
Once there was a girl who wanted
Can't even read.
to
Cut it out, dude. You're gonna get us in trouble.
Today, Junior?
One of the side effects of living in this iPhone society is that like anybody can get rich, or anybody can get famous, I should say, get a following, but it doesn't mean they actually know how to make money. In fact, most of them don't realize you need to sell things to your people. Now, there's a tendency when you find out you got to sell stuff to think that I got to come up with a product. And I promise you, there are products that they're already buying. Like the cake people are already buying cake stuff. There's cake tools, and there's baking stuff, and there's cooking classes, and et cetera, and there's specialty flour, and there's fondant, and all kinds of things like that related to cake, right? Like we don't have to come up with products. We have to simply identify the products that they're already buying. And by the way, the best way to research this that I found is this new app came out called ChatGPT. And you go to ChatGPT and you just say, hey, I'm watching a video about blank. What do these people already buy? And give me like a list of 20 things they're already buying. And it'll just tell you. Like they're already buying. You might as well sell what they're already buying, right? So it is simply, again, like a little bit of research. And this can be done in like under 30 seconds. By the way, both of these actions, they're a little bit bold. But as far as like a time, it takes 30 seconds to go, would you be open to selling it? It takes 30 seconds to ask ChatGPT, what do these people buy? In fact, deal making is like part of it is the magic of the speed. It's the opposite of trying to function like this.
I had to break up with Lucy. She wouldn't let me. I'm scared of her, Mr. Leahy.
Randy, we're gonna have to do something about Lucy.
What, Mr. Leahy?
I don't know, Randy. Maybe these things have a way of working themselves out. I'm gonna let the liquor do the thinking. Have a drink.
Okay? Step 3 is we're gonna put that product, or we're gonna say secure that product. Okay? And there's a simple way to secure any product, by the way, which is, again, it's a simple question, is would you be open to paying me a commission? I'm just gonna call it a commish to sell your stuff. By the way, a lot of times people struggle with going, how do I get, a product owner to give me money? You don't ask for money. You say, I'm trying to bring you money. You say, could I sell your stuff? Hey, I saw you guys got a really cool course on how to bake fancy cakes. Would you be open to paying me a commission to sell that? And by the way, you can stick that in somebody else's channel, somebody else's email list, somebody else's whatever. And ideally, we want to talk to people about the product. So the actual steps in this, by the way, are 30 seconds long, which is you're researching, watching shit, and you, instead of just watching it passively, you just go, hey, just out of curiosity, would you be open to selling this channel? Sometimes people say, yeah, what did you have in mind? And usually the answer is going to be less than $100. You secure the channel, and then you find out, and by the way, you can probably do this research even before you do any transfer. You go, what are they already buying? And then you pick one of those products and you go to them and you say, would you be open to paying me a commission to sell it? And they'll usually say, yeah, I would. And I'll give you an example of this. This one actually was a failed deal, but it illustrates the principles. So I was looking at some real estate videos. We contacted the guy and said, actually, we didn't even offer, in this case, to buy the channel. We just opened to control. We said, would you be open to us helping you monetize the channel? And we would split the money. He said, fine. I did some research on the software and tools that made it so he could execute the idea. Again, that was 30 seconds in ChatGPT. I reached out to some of those software providers and said, could we sell your stuff for commission? And they said, yeah. And I said, could you put together a special deal for our peeps? We got 175,000 people on the channel. And we ended up taking the software and put it below the person's videos with our affiliate link. Now, what I want to be really clear about is that ain't my real estate channel. That ain't my software, right? We're still getting paid a commission for creating those sales, but like I'm the deal maker there. I'm not actually making videos. I'm not running a channel, and I'm not like creating products that I have to fulfill on. So every time we make a sale, by the way, there's nothing for me to do. That's the real magic of deal making, is every time we make a sale, there is nothing for me to do. And of course, in that particular case, it was a 175,000 person YouTube channel. Do you think you're going to make sales faster starting at zero or with 175,000 people, right? Obviously, it's going to be faster. So I think the way most people operate, where they're just shaking their booties on TikTok, trying to get rich and famous, hoping that corporate sponsorship just leaves you like this.
Are you crying?
No.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little piece of fun work here, okay? I want you the next time you're scrolling, just to play around with this. It doesn't have to be a very serious, heavy thing. It's just to message somebody one time and just say, would you be open to selling this channel to me? Or would you be, and you can do this all kinds of ways. Would you be open to just selling a link in one video? Would you be open to doing an email promo, right? Like there's all kinds of ways you can ask for it, but you just ask them, would you be willing to it? And by the way, because you're offering them money, it's pretty easy conversation, right? You're not really trying to sell them anything. Would you be open to taking money from me? And when you put all this together, what happens is you'll start seeing paychecks. And what you'll find is because there's no actual work after you've set the deal up, you can do hundreds of these. In fact, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, had a little conversation with him at one of the events I went to recently. And he was talking about, that's how he got rich. He found TV stations, which are equivalents. He started with the audience. And then he started selling other people's products. The first one he started with is a thing called Ginsu knives that was doing really, really well at conferences. He put them together and created a recurring affiliate commission. He sold more knives than anyone, but didn't make the knives and didn't have to fulfill on them and didn't have to provide customer support. He just recognized TV stations had unsold airtime, and the Ginsu knives guy was selling all his stuff manually. And if he could put that together in a video pitch, he put those two things together and sold hundreds of millions of dollars worth of products over the years and has become obscenely wealthy and created a large personal brand. So for you, I want you just to try that one magic phrase. Would you be open to selling it? Okay? That's all I got for you guys in this video. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe for the greatest of all time. 170 pounds of pure steel and sex appeal, the golden dad guns, the man himself. Okay, enough of the shenanigans. And I watched too much wrestling, obviously, as a kid. So anyways, but that's all I got for you guys in this video. May the Triforce be with you.